Solid.
You're just nailing it.
Thank you.
Man, making me look bad.
No.
It's fine.
Embracing how good you are and letting it empower me.
That's a good angle. Thank you.
Ah,
Amazing.
literally. Hi, I love you. I missed you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, and cheers to some yuzu.
Thank you for helping me with this.
We have a special friend here, which we have to talk about because she's maybe the most precious thing in the entire world, and her name is Spaghetti and Meatballs. I'm sure you talk about it ad nauseum, the origin story. I'm sure it's the first. Is that not the first thing that people ask?
Of course.
When they learn her name is Spaghetti and Meatballs, they say, why?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. They'll say, did a child name her?
Oh.
And then I'll go,
You're looking at her.
you're looking at the child.
Wow. That's
But-
interesting that that's the first thing that
Yeah.
they ask.
They think spaghetti meatballs. Then you have some people laugh, which initial reaction I love.
and then
you
you're
have
like, the disrespect.
how dare you?
Well, that's my child's name.
Yeah, and then I have the ones that are like, how did you come up with that? And I say, comfort food
So she's the comfort
of my heart.
Of your heart.
Yeah, and she also calms the rest of the family down, and friends, and honestly, strangers.
Yeah, anybody that she meets.
Yeah, and it really diffuses a lot, and I think it takes a lot of stress off of me when I come onto land. I feel like land is hyper intense now to me because I've been at ships now for 6 years.
Yes.
I come back and I still have sea legs, which I think you mentioned, and then I was like, but that's how I've been feeling this way.
Yes.
Because you're floating so much.
Yes. Your core strength must be exceptional.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
I can do the yoga pose where you put your hand above and then you, like a tree. I think it's called tree pose.
Very good.
Yeah. For a long time.
Wow.
My planking, coincidentally,
Oh.
I can walk the plank. My plank is really good.
Wow.
I think we're talking like 4 minutes.
What?
Yeah. Before I even start to burn.
What? Now you're just bragging. Now you're just showing off.
I can plank here if you need to later.
Okay, yeah, that'll be the bonus footage.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Set up an OnlyFans just for that. Watch
Yeah.
me plank.
That's actually not a bad OnlyFans idea.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it doesn't have to be what people think it has to be. You know?
Do you guys want to watch me plank every day?
People, there's something for everybody.
That's actually a genius OnlyFans idea.
It's fine. I'll only take 5%. If you were to get another little baby, would it have a food name as well, or is this a novelty?
Ooh, that's a great question. I like the food ideas always.
Yes.
I am gonna get more dogs as I buy a home with a yard.
Okay.
You know, when I apply for a mortgage and it doesn't get denied.
Sure. Good. Manifesting.
Yeah, it's gonna. But I'm also, after that happened, I was like, you know what? I've worked too hard and too long, and then I just started living again. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to like wait for the house. The house is coming.
Yes.
But I'm doing it mostly because I want more dogs.
Uh-huh.
Like my family's like investment and retirement, and I'm like yard for more poop to sit in.
Yes, it's fertilizer.
And so I do want a wiener dog again.
Okay.
I'd love a short hair because I'm really starting to enjoy them. I feel like I call her Spaghettini Alfredo.
Oh.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it's spaghetti and meatballs. Spagoot, Spaghettini Alfredo.
I was like, maybe you're now ruining the name on another person who can, animal.
But then
they're
I
people
thought
too.
Tagliatelle would be such a good name.
I approve.
Tagliatelle Bolognese.
Oh my. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Don't you think spaghetti and meatballs and then tagliatelle bolognese, which is actually what they eat
It sounds
in Italy.
regal, honestly.
It does sound regal.
I think that anything in a different language, especially if you really enunciate with the accent, just takes it to a whole other level.
There is something to be said about the Italian folk that are on the ship
Oh,
because
okay.
they speak Italian so much. You end up. I'm someone that mimics a lot.
Oh dear.
Whether
Okay.
I mean to do it or not mean to do it,
Sure.
it happens. So I've really started to channel that in properly by learning the language as opposed to
Speaking
just
English in an accent.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people tend to do this the most with a British accent.
Yeah,
They'll
Madonna.
start using that famously, using just like that certain inflection and cadence.
Sure.
But still speaking with an American diction.
Sure.
But just in that way.
But-
and it's a little unsettling
Then
sometimes.
I meet someone from Bulgaria and I find
Oh.
myself speaking like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do?
They love it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but then we incorporate words and we write down the words, and then I learned how to say hi, how are you? Is the elevator going up? Is the elevator going down?
All the important things.
All the things you need for accessing the ship. And then
Yes.
drinks, and then naughty words.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many naughty words, because it's
Sure.
some of them are like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
A bit too much.
You don't need to tell me it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if there was any.
Right. And what to avoid, and if you're saying bad things about
Yes.
me, I want to know.
I do want to know.
Yeah. You grew up with, well, and this is probably multifaceted, because maybe I should preface what you thought was Italian-American heritage.
He was so proud about being Italian that he went and got a 23andMe test done. I don't know if you know what those tests are.
And then,
Very
according
funny.
to your
Jokes,
yeah.
which we all know jokes are real. They come from 100% truth. Hassan Minaj. Just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. So was it a bit, or was it accurate?
No, it's accurate, but
The
it's
ancestry.
not fully. I mean, it's not fully. The joke takes it so far, but it's to show how many people have gotten. It comes off of my friend's story, Rose, and their last name is Rossi, and her dad's like a super Italian actor, works all the time in a ton of Italian movies, and then he went and got the Ancestry.com thing done. And like they're not as Italian as they thought, and I thought that was such a funny. His whole life was lived on that, but then we did it as well.
Yeah.
And my dad's not super. He's like, no, you're more Italian than you are on the Polish side for sure. And I like when they tell you, they're like, we know you came from us. Here's how. And their whole lives they got away with that. And then these test results came back, and people are just across the board getting completely mixed messages about their heritage. So it is a version of that. My mom likes to say Polish, Ukrainian, Yugoslavian, Northern European, but the results are like Polish.
Right. They're like, you can say whatever you want,
Yeah.
but the DNA is saying otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have these tests growing up, learning about that. So was any of that kind of cultural food very present growing up?
Yeah.
Were there any dishes that just really stood out?
Yeah, I would want a lot of potatoes, but cabbage and noodles.
Yeah.
Pigs in a blanket is what they call it. It's like a pork with minced meat inside, red cabbage in a stew, right?
Uh-huh.
That's on the pierogies. Is more of a Ukrainian style dough, cheese, potato on the inside,
Yeah.
onions and butter. Very heavy, home stuff, like homey feel. And then they love kielbasa. They love kielbasa.
Yeah.
They love it.
Okay.
And then that's
Do you love kielbasa?
I
How did
do.
you feel? Like,
It's
did you enjoy
weird.
a lot of these things? Like,
yeah, I'd say I enjoy them because
Okay.
they're delicious. Italian in that style of food, like to jump from one to the other, where it's more fresh stuff in the garden or
thank you.
wonderful. That's good for you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Appreciate you. So those dishes were from my mom's side of the family, and they were at everything. They were at everything. Every time you went to a birthday, communion, wedding, funeral, it was just it's the customary. And then there's some more heavy dishes that my family would make on their side, but I don't remember them the way I remember those specific ones being
Yeah.
tossed around. And then you'd go to my grandpa's house on Sundays, every Sunday, and it'd be like his version of Italy, where he came from. It's not Naples, but a little bit south of Italy.
Okay.
Everything's from the garden, so all the salads up front, and the way he cooks his pasta, the way he broils his fish, the way he washes his dishes, the way he composts after. It's like very specific.
What's the specificity with washing the dishes?
So he loves to put he doesn't like to waste water.
Okay.
It's a tin in the sink, fills that up with hot water and soap, and like slowly puts stuff in there so it's like cleaning itself.
Right. Okay.
And then when he's washing the dishes, he uses literally a dribble of water.
Okay.
It takes like 45 minutes. He's
Wow.
like, that's how he conserved. It was a very specific style that I
Yeah.
remember. I remember seeing him do it. But I'm excited.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's a very large tire bra, and I'm grateful for you.
Let's do it.
Thank you. So the foods that my grandma, his own rigatoni, handmade pasta,
Wow.
huge meatballs that Aunt Antoinette would make that were like as big as your head and tasted so just filled with love and celery, just like
Love
really,
and celery.
yeah, love and celery.
That's an unexpected ingredient, I
Don't you
guess.
think?
But did it make it? What do you think that gave the meatball? Just a signature.
God, I feel like it was
Something
pork,
unexpected.
mincemeat. Maybe she did some deer sometimes too.
Oh my! Wow. So just all of the unexpected.
And then when she
Surprises.
passed, everyone was like, "Never again will we get the meatballs." But it's like it died with her.
Oh, so there was no recipe. There was.
I'm sure there was, but somebody nailed it.
Oh,
Somebody went
wow.
in. and grabbed it.
Whoa.
I'm eating. You better eat too.
Yes, we're gonna eat. We're gonna try everything because it looks amazing.
Brisket is like
And it is amazing. Yeah. What do you think?
bomb.
Oh, good.
Really bomb.
Excellent. This is a positive review. I'm pleased.
Yeah, it's like smoked smoked brisket.
Wow.
Really good job.
Okay.
On to the bra.
Do you enjoy cooking to that same degree that they did? Because growing up, didn't you grow some of your own food?
Yes.
So, I don't know if it was you really launching into that or if it was just what was going on around you, but did that kind of foster anything in terms of how you approach food?
Yeah, I think there is something really calming and rewarding too. Calming, collecting the recipe, getting the items, figuring out what you already have,
Right?
getting creative,
Yeah.
and then rewarding in the end, beating yourself.
Would you say that you have like a signature or go-to
Ah,
specialty?
it's so funny because it's not at all Italian.
It doesn't have to
Okay,
be.
okay. Yes, I have a signature style of tacos that I do.
Tell me about this signature
Okay.
style of tacos.
So this meat can be substituted with all grass-fed anything, but turkey meat, red meat. If you want to choose a ground beef,
Okay.
I like to add a little bit of the ground beef sausage, hot sausage, ground pork hot sausage in it.
Okay.
I sort of mince the meat together, and I use the cumin, and then I do cheat sometimes, and I get like the taco
Seasoning?
seasoning.
That's okay.
So delicious.
Listen, I feel like if somebody's doing a great job at one element,
Sure.
throw it in the mix.
Thank you. So
You
then
know-
I don't feel so bad.
No, because you're doing all the other heavy lifting.
Yeah, and also it's like sometimes they do a really good job. They salt it more than I would have.
Yeah. Leave some of the guesswork out of it. I think that's more than okay.
But I'm not even done yet.
I'm still here.
I get a full bag of jalapenos, and then a full bag, Trader Joe's bag.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if people know what that is. It's probably like 8.
Okay.
Cut those puppies up. I get soyaki sauce from Trader Joe's and sweet
Is it-
chili sauce.
We should ask them to sponsor this, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Okay.
They can't. I don't think they ever do that. We've tried, but it's okay.
you never know.
We never know. Wink.
Wink.
Okay.
Then the sweet chili, the soyaki.
This is all happening with the tacos.
This is like the meat is sitting there. It's like gotten the taco stuff, the party, and I don't even marinate it for too long. You could
Sure.
marinate it longer. I'm usually so pumped about the tacos that it's just go time.
Yes.
And then you put the jalapenos, the red onions, put that sucker in there, let it pan up. I like to use a little bit of, I always miss it, ghee butter,
Uh-huh.
and then just to get them going, and then
Okay.
pow, everything goes in.
Wow.
Meat goes in and it sautés, just like for a nice amount of time. Whilst that's happening, I take a flat iron on the left-hand
I
side,
do my hair.
do my hair, then
Then
I'm chopping up a little bit. Like, I'm a lettuce person on my hard tacos, so I'm chopping up the tomatoes, I'm chopping up the lettuce, chopping up the cilantro,
Sure.
and then there's a green chili sauce that sort of balances the spice that's going to be coming out of the pan.
Okay.
It almost cools it down. As much as it's like green chili, it's more mild. Adds that cool. And if you want a little sour cream in there, if you want to make it like your version,
Yes.
you can do the cream as the more like Spanish style cream, the crema that they use.
Sure.
Yeah. Or if you're
Wow.
dairy free, you can use the dairy free sour cream, which just adds a little bit of coolness to it.
Right. Wow.
Mhm.
This sounds fantastic. Are you opening up a taqueria anytime soon?
It's the only taco I make.
Okay, that's okay.
You can add mangoes and stuff to it though.
So it's customizable.
You can
do a
customize
base, and then the whole thing, kind of like a hot dog stand, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's one
You can
product.
add bacon to it.
I
just
just
like-
it might be. Does it have a name? This taco concept, perhaps?
Ooh, well, I got the recipe sort of when I was hanging out with my friend who lived in a trailer.
All right, trailer park tacos.
Trailer park tacos.
Fabulous. We're coming up with a lot of great things here.
I'm telling you, I'm a
Okay.
genius.
I'm looking out for it.
I'm a genius.
Yeah. Well, so when you're not whipping up tacos and cooking for yourself, I think you probably get, correct me if I'm wrong, pretty great treatment when you are comedy in residence on the cruise, because right they're
Absolutely.
taking care of all of that. I'm curious if you have special treatment. Do
I
you
could get it
okay?
if I wanted to channel it in.
Okay, and might I ask what that means and what that entails? Because I'm sure you come to, there's a lot of people, right, that work on a ship, right? Lots of people.
Yes.
But I would think that you would, somebody like you would get to know a lot of the people, make some fast friends.
Absolutely. It's also a matter of becoming friends with the particular chefs that you bond with. So a lot of my pre-show,
Very
post-show, present show is I bond a lot with the back of house. I'm with back of house a lot. If you make friends with those chefs, your ramen starts to get a little bit more interesting. I was never a Spam person until I started to learn how to eat Spam.
Oh, and what is the way to eat
Well,
it?
the way that they were eating it is these Hawaiian buns, and the way they cook their Spam is like they use fennel, onion. Yeah, they fry it up, then they fry an egg, put a little chili pepper on top. I know, I agree with you. And then they put it in between the Hawaiian bun. You can add pineapple to it if you want to. If you want to add like a different style of, or mango to it, or plantain.
Wow.
Plantain. I know. And you could use the can as a telephone afterwards.
Ah, multifunctional. Nothing gets left behind. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You call the chef and say, "This was delicious. Thank you."
This is great.
Oh, good.
With the broth too.
Yeah, that was
I did it on my own.
that was a signature move that you kind of.
Take that.
Oh no, please enjoy. Yeah.
It's really good for you.
All right, Mom. Thanks. Travel is definitely a theme because you had to show the New American road trip, and the focus of that was to teach Americans how to fight climate change, but through a very unique approach through comedy and other comedians. I'm wondering if, because I know this was not the focus of it, but going cross country, if anything kind of was a takeaway in terms of food, sustainability, and any of the kind of practices that you were coming across throughout that journey, if that was a takeaway at all, or if it made you think about food at all in a different perspective with the change in climate and how we source our food and consume our food and get our food.
150%.
Yeah.
150%. That's why I really look at, meatless Mondays as an option for a lot of people so they can see and understand how interesting different versions of food can be as opposed to the same consistency. There was a really cool approach to using this specific style of soil that pulls carbon from the atmosphere so it's not as hot and heated. And so farmers using that would help alleviate a lot of carbon that's been sitting up there that has no place to go. Chickens, like taking care of chickens to make sure that they have enough eggs and such, and being able to provide goat's milk to farmers without it having a lot of antibiotics inside of any of their feed of sorts. So it was really nice to see the source from what a lot of farmers were doing to move in advance, and then also like some cool like solar projects that were going on the farm as well. Love a windmill. I love a windmill.
Yes.
Love a windmill.
Who doesn't?
But I also saw that the challenge for maybe street city style streets is like those pop-up gardens. There's more in New York, but I would like to see them more everywhere. What's a lawn? What's a lawn? Like, why a lawn? It's make food out of it. And so everyone in the neighborhood could be making food. It's like mowing your lawn every day as opposed to like walking out and having a garden. It makes no sense. Again, jealous that people get said yes to for mortgages when I get said no to.
Right, because all of these ideas
are genius.
Yes.
My
really
whole
sleeping on this.
backyard is going to be a garden that my dogs poop in.
It'll be just so sustainable. All of the dachshunds running around fertilizing the land, and amazing fruits and vegetables and whatnot.
There was a funny episode that I did on there afterwards where I talked to former Secretary of State John Kerry about composting.
Yes.
And that conversation lasted for like 3 hours and was really very funny.
Whoa. What was the best takeaway?
Just how funny he was about it. Like he was like, so I'm thinking if I have to spin it so much, and you have to spin it a lot to keep the oxygen circulating. And I'm like, this is so funny. This is his now like retiree project. But he's not retired, but he wants to talk about composting.
Yeah.
Very funny. That was my key takeaway was invite me to Martha's Vineyard.
Wow. I don't think a lot of people can say that they've had a 3-hour-long conversation with John Kerry about composting. So you win. I think that they chose the right person to do the cross country because I think you started driving when you were 12.
Yeah.
Bev, your mom,
Yes.
let you drive, but under the condition that it was to drive her to get a Frosty.
Just drive and bring back a Frosty.
She wasn't even in the car.
For the first couple of times.
Sure. And then she was like, "You've got this." The trust. Is there
Small town.
Is there any place, whether it be a fast food joint or restaurant or cafe of the like, that you would entrust a 12-year-old to drive and take you to because it's that damn good?
It was the Wendy's Frosty, so it's like, do I know a place? No, I mean, 12-year-olds are so different now.
Yeah.
They have a lot of distractions. I wouldn't trust a lot of 12-year-olds driving today.
No.
I was very cautious. I sat on 3 phone books. There was a deep dish pizza at the Stroll Inn.
Oh.
Kennedy Township is right past the Wendy's, so it's like a two-stop shop.
Okay.
And it was the tiny pepperonis, and you know that it was cut from the deli, like it was actual, like, proper made pizza.
Yeah.
Handmade crust, super deep, not trying to be Chicago, not trying to be New York, just like Pittsburgh. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. But I don't know how they did it, witchcraft. Crispy on the outside, but not like cement.
Okay, which
And then
you should go for in a pizza, not cement.
absolutely.
Right.
And then you get to the middle and it's not falling apart, it's staying together, but it's magically like big cheese.
It sounds like witchcraft.
Good.
Wow.
So there.
Okay. Well,
12-year-old.
speaking of witchcraft, The Craft is one of your favorite movies. What would your power be?
Ooh. Out of what they had?
Sure.
Okay,
Or
so
beyond.
they had
Because I don't remember.
They
the one I
fly.
remember. Okay, I remember the one where you could change your hair.
Change your hair.
eye color, or-
because I think she can change people's minds or something, or
Oh.
like the healing of skin.
Ah, yes.
I really liked that one. They
Okay.
all kind of backfired though.
Hmm.
But healing, okay, between flying, well, they flew and they had their power, so we get 2.
Okay.
Because they were like flying.
Sure.
Then the full mind control where she like made people fall in love with her, I feel like that would be a little bit much for me.
Yeah.
But healing, I feel like if I can heal myself, then maybe I would be a healer for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
My
I think it's a-
OnlyFans,
Yeah. Perfect. Full circle moment.
full circle moment of healing.
Tastes change, which is normal throughout life. Did your coffee preference change since college? Because, spoily, we went to college together.
Oh my god, yes!
And I don't know if you remember this,
Uh-oh.
but we would go, maybe not daily, but maybe daily, to BP across the street.
Oh my god, and get the cappuccinos.
They were
The vanilla
the
cappuccinos.
cappuccinos, which is a very polite thing to call the beverage machine that
Powder.
dispensed maybe 1/3 actual coffee, 1/3 fake cream,
Pure
and
sugar.
1/3 sugar, I do believe.
God, we did do that.
Yes.
I
Like-
blacked that out completely.
Oh no, never forget.
Never forget.
No, because it was kind of in the same vein of like a fountain soda,
Mhm.
and it was like, well, what are the different varieties? I must try them all, and do, and then they had the little creamers, and then you have to do the right flavor pairing. It was
Hazelnut
trash.
or wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
we managed. I don't think we paid for a single one because they wouldn't let us.
You're right.
They wouldn't let us.
Why?
Because
was
you
so
made
bad?
friends with everybody, and I was there for the ride. And they were like,
BP?
yeah, because it was like midnight. We were the only random people that were there sober, coming in for a 20-ounce coffee.
Hot?
And it probably,
Yeah.
mine were.
Mine was.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was about to say, like,
Wow.
I'm sure it had to be hot because I heard about this little trick that you used to do as a kid with Slurpees. And I don't think that would work with a hot drink. Should I say what the trick was?
Yeah, it's online, and I want
Yeah.
all the kids to know about it.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
So you would go to a 7-Eleven, and stop me if I have anything incorrect. Start filling her up. Get some candy bars. Pop those guys in, and then cap it off. The drink, you got a twofer.
Right there. One large Slurpee piece. And it would be like, whatever, 50 cents. And then I would go out, I would slurp it, and then I'd open it up, and I'd have 6 candy bars. It was genius.
Yes.
I got away with it for so long.
Yes.
Until, like, I think I got caught by one of the mirrors.
Oh no. And never again. Well,
Then I was like, oh, that is stealing. But in my head, I was like, I'm a genius.
I'm just getting a good deal, is what you thought. But that unfortunately would not have flown with a hot drink. That wouldn't have worked.
Plastic, yeah.
I don't know. Do you still have that same affinity for a crazy sweet?
You're gonna laugh at my now. I drink only the best Italian espresso at a 15 to 16 second drip, and then I cut it off so it's not bitter, either as is or with a little bit of a sugar cube, but like the smallest sugar cube.
You
espresso only.
you properly did a great 180. You turned something crazy into something very sophisticated.
Super sophisticated now. I have my own espresso machine. I'm very specific about the pour. I can't believe it. I actually remember. I can taste them. I cannot believe we did that.
What's the funniest food?
The funniest food. Hot dogs.
Ah, why?
Weird.
Okay.
Like, it's not kielbasa, it's not hot sausage.
Okay.
It's a mixture of other styles of meat and extras.
Sure.
It's a white bun. Relish I'm into. I love relish.
Okay. Not funny.
Not funny. But I guess hot dogs, it's like,
And the way they look.
yeah, the way they look at it. Also, there's dogs shaped like them. I think that's the funniest food. There's also the Monte Cristo that was at Bennigan's that I think is one of the funniest, weirdest meals. Have you ever gone to Bennigan's?
Probably once in my life.
I worked there.
Okay.
It's
What
like
was
a
that like?
deep fried. Oh, it was actually fun, but
Oh.
deep fried. Funny enough, sort of like the stuffed jack from Belize. I'm about to say, it's a deep fried, soft dough stuffed with ham and cheese, though.
Okay.
A little different.
Okay.
Actually, a lot different, and then dipped with raspberry jam.
Raspberry jam. That is an unexpected condiment I was not prepared for.
Powdered sugar on top.
And this worked, or that's why it was funny?
It's 1,400 calories,
Do you think that it was a joke on the menu and they just said, let's see what people do?
and people did it.
And people did it. Did anybody enjoy it?
No.
Ordered it again.
Or some people would be like, some people would go, I feel really sick right now.
And you're just like, power through, it gets better.
And they go, can I have a box?
To throw up in? Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, funny foods. Well, you've done so many high profile things and worked in so many different arenas, like very impressive things.
Thank you.
I want to know though, who had the best craft services?
It's a great question. Wow. Okay. Best craft services, Big Bang Theory.
What's
No
going on?
question. Everything you wanted, and if something wasn't there, there was a chef on hand to make it for you.
Wow.
Or anything that is like food truck pop-ups too. Like it's like, yes, they have their catering, but like they also have a food truck that they'll bring in once a week or something. There was a really cool like donut hole food truck.
Nice.
It was insanely like rich, really flavorful. That was on one of the haunted movies. More of the murder movie that that worked on. It was like a comedy murder movie.
Okay.
I never had yes.
And we don't have to say what it was. Well, what the production was.
Yeah, I know. Worst craft services is when people just think buying a deli tray is enough for an entire shoot.
Like you're at a PTA meeting or something.
Like, and it just drives me bananas because it's like there's so much. Just at that point make grilled cheeses and add truffle to it, and save the fake meat.
Yes.
It's a smarter, more thoughtful. Deli trays really drive me bananas, like pre-made deli trays. But
Yeah.
it just.
Agree.
But I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever happened.
No, it's nothing. Nothing could be the worst thing. But
Yeah.
It's certainly not impressing anybody.
No, it's not impressing anybody. I remember specifically being like, I'm making the budget. I'm telling you guys which coffee to go and buy, and I'm giving you budget to go and buy that. When I show up on Monday, that's the coffee the whole team is going to have. Then I show up and it's not the coffee, and they were like, well, this was cheaper. And I was like, that was the point. Is that I wanted you to spend the most money on the best coffee.
And they went the opposite
They were
direction.
at 7-Eleven, cappuccinos, BP.
Yes.
BP, that's what it was, BP.
Speaking of spending way too much money, you've said that your grandma Irene spent way too much money on gin.
Oh yeah.
And is there anything that you tend to spend too much on, food or beverage wise?
Too much?
Well, that's subjective, I guess, but to the level I think that she bought gin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oysters.
Oysters. Okay.
I spend too much on them.
Okay.
It's like sometimes it's like, what am I doing? 6, like you get 6 oysters and it's $85. It's like, come on, someone's scamming you. But I'm like, delicious.
Well, if you enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
that's the most important thing. You deserve it.
Yeah, I'd say maybe seafood. I don't spend a ton of money on liquor and alcohol just because when I travel now a lot, it's not. It just, I get so tired so fast now. The times have changed. Actually, I wasn't even a heavy drinker. Neither were you. I was never really a heavy drinker in college either. I was too
We
busy.
were drinking cafe cappuccinos. Yeah. We had a style about us.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we're ahead of the curve.
Oh
It's
my
fine. We knew what we were doing.
So funny. Oh, I just got a good bite of a jalapeno or a red pepper.
Oh, fabulous.
Woo!
That's good luck.
Is it really?
Today it is. I feel like a lot of that, because you are very into style and fashion.
Love it.
Fashionista to a T. Do you feel any type of way about the resurgence of all of these like collegiate fashions that we have back then, now kind of being brought back?
The nostalgia of it is really nice to see. Fashion is cyclical.
Right.
There's so many layers to a rendition. So seeing different renditions of a style I was growing up with is always super fun for me. I don't get bummed out by the resurgence of, I mean, maybe of films that I'm like, you really need a 4th one of that?
Sure.
But then if it's good, rock and roll. But the resurgence in fashion, it's like fabrics, much like food, are so interesting, multifaceted. When turned to the light this way or watered that way, it's so intricate, and it changes the environment. Clothing, whether it's on stage or at a birthday party or what you wear to bed at night, it's like that kind of stuff really makes me happy, and that comes from more of a like the background of liking the way fabrics feel, smelling the way food smells when it's coming fresh up out of the garden, things like that. When you smack mint in your hand and like that floral comes up, those are nuances that you either are into or are not, or just breeze through. Like, I can't tell you how many people order mojitos, like at an LA bar, and they're like, I love mojitos, and you're like, so you like the mint? There's mint in there? And you're like, oh, you have no idea what's happening. You're just drinking, but you have no, like, you had a long day, but it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I could go to a 55-minute conversation about condiments.
Oh. Well, what's your favorite?
Don't get me started.
Okay, we don't have that kind of time. But if you had to pick one.
Spicy aioli.
Okay.
Can't believe it.
Spicy.
Mayonnaise meets peppers, but a little, you can do it tart, you can add lime to it. I would say I'm hungry, but I finished my meal completely.
You did an incredible job, and I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed this immensely. So proud of everything that you've accomplished, and still a ton to come. So I'm excited
I hope
to
so.
see. It will. I'm excited to see it, and I
Thank you.
appreciate you sharing this with me.
I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am that you know my entire backlog of my career.
I did my homework.
I also I forgot so much of what you brought up.
It's like this is your life,
Yeah, you,
but not.
but
It's
not
Sprung
my
On
life.
Food. Wink.